Hello friends, Om Namah Shivaya. Namaste. Now we will solve question number 4, part 3rd for exercise 8 for class 10th and exercise is 8.3. So the question number 4 and part 3 and 4 we will solve in this video. So part 3rd is tan theta by 1 minus cot theta plus cot theta by 1 minus tan theta is equivalent to 1 plus sec theta multiply cos theta. So we have to solve these questions. So they are providing us a hint, and the hint is we have to convert this expression that we have given on the left hand side in sine and in cos. Okay, let's move. Now, so we have both sides, left hand side and right hand side. So we can take this approach of making left hand side equivalent to right hand side. So as the question has provided us some hint, like we will convert tan and cot in terms of sine and cos. So let's see what we have to do first. So on the left hand side we have got tan and cot, so we will convert tan into sine by cos. So we know that tan is equivalent to sine by cos, and cot is the reverse of tan. So here is cos by sine, and similarly here as well. In cot we have converted into sine cos, cos sine and sine cos, right? Now since the denominator needs to be solved, so we will solve each denominator one by one. So as we proceed, see here, simplify each denominator. So we are simplifying each denominator. 1 minus cos by sine, taking 1 over here like this and taking sine as common. So we get solution, that sine here and cos here, right? I hope this is a very simple fundamental thing. And similarly for 1 minus sine by cos, you take by 1 over here and you take cos over here, then cos goes over there, then minus sine. So this is your, and you try to make them equal. You try to, it's cos minus sine by cos, and you try to make it similar like cos sine minus cos. You change the sign over here and you bring minus over here. So I think this is clear. So once you start to substitute these values back at their place, that becomes sine square plus cos square. See how it has happened. So you're given a question like this. So once you try to solve it, so first you put sine, then you put cos here, then your this sine goes above. So again it becomes sine, and on the downside it becomes sine minus cos. It becomes sine minus cos, right? Since you have a plus sign here, but since you have changed the sign, so it will be here minus, and then your cos is here. Cos will go on the up, so that will become cos into cos, and on the downside, on the denominator side, we get again cos bracket cos minus sine, cos and cos minus sine, right? So it's like if it is downside here, cos multiply, so here it will be sine multiply, it will be sine multiply. So again let's go back to our here. So here is our cos and there is our sine, so we multiply with sine minus cos here and sine minus cos here with the cos as well, because sine and cos are the only values on the downside. But since we have changed the sign here, since you change the sign here, so it will take place, replace sign here for plus by minus. I hope this thing is clear to you. So simple, just we have done nothing here, just by taking the, making the denominator simplify, and once we simplify we just solve this numerator and denominator. So once we solve it, we come to like this equations, and once we reach here, we try to change the sign of this equation. We want to make it equivalent to sine minus cos, so we just put the sign here just to change the sign and make the equation like this. So now as we proceed further, so you can see in both the denominator we have sine minus cos, we have sine minus cos, and since we have taken sine minus cos as in both our denominator, and so after taking the again the LCM for both these numbers or both these terms, so this one and this one, we get sine cube minus cos cube. We get sine cube minus cos cube. And once we further further simplify it, we get for sine cube and cos cube is sine minus cos, sine square plus sine cos plus cos square. So if you don't want to solve by this method, there is another method available by a cube minus b cube approach. You can also try to solve this question by this approach and it will be equally relevant. No issues in that. So once we do with this way, we get this thing and we try to put over here. So here we get sine minus cos, right? Sine minus cos, it get cancelled out by the denominator sine minus cos, sine minus cos. So it get this term and this thing get cancelled out and we are only left with sine square plus sine cos plus cos square. And we know that for sure that sine square plus cos square is equivalent to 1 1, right? And sine cos by and total thing is sine cos, right? So now if we move further, we get 1 by sine cos and sine cos by sine cos is equal to 1. So we get 1 plus 1 by sine cos. I think this is what we were expected to find out in the question, right? Because we can change it according to the question. So 1 plus 1 by sine cos can be is equivalent to 1 plus 1 plus we change sine or cos with the reverse, that is cosec and sec. First is sec and cosec. I think this is clear to you, right? 1 plus sec and cosec. So we have solved these questions. We have proved LHS is equal to RHS. Very simply, a quick recap to this question. Nothing, it's a very fundamental questions. So what you have to do first thing is you have to convert tan and cot into sine and cos. Once you convert it, solve the denominator, simplify the denominator. Once you simplify the denominator, nothing, just apply here identity of a cube minus b cube. Just put this identity or you can use other identity as well. But for sine or cos, it is relevant if you use this identity. So this thing will get cancelled out. The remaining thing is that, and we know that sine square plus cos square is equal to 1 and sine by cos by sine by cos is equal to 1. So we get 1 here, we get 1 by sine cos here, we reverse it, we get our answer 1 by sec and cosec. So I hope this thing is very clear to you and there is no doubt in that. But now it's time for us to solve the fourth part of this question and let's move back to the fourth part. So in the fourth part, we have given 1 plus sec a by sec a is equivalent to sine square a by 1 minus cos a. So it is like the question is providing us hint. We have to solve this, simplify this LHS and RHS separately. It's like we can solve this question in that manner as well, but the question is providing us a hint like we have to solve this question separately. For RHS, we have to reach somewhere, and for left hand side we have to reach somewhere, for right hand side somewhere, and both should be equal. So let's see how we further move this question under this question. So we have given this question. It's a very simple question, like see over here, 1 plus sec a by sec a. So you can break this question. So 1 plus sec a, you can write it 1 by sec a by sec a, right? We have just break down this question, right? And 1 by sec a, you know, it is equivalent to cos a because sec is the reverse of cos, and sec by sec, that becomes 1. So it cos a by 1. I hope it's very simple and very clear to you. Now if you look at, so we have solved this left hand side, just now we will move on to the right hand side. So if we move to the right hand side, we say sine square a, and we know the identity, like, you know, sine square plus cos square is equivalent to 1. This is the identity that we know for sure. So this is the identity that we know, right? So if we keep the sine square here and replace the sine square by 1 minus cos square, like see over here, replace the sine square by 1 minus cos square over here. So it's simply you have simply put 1 minus cos square, right? And 1 minus cos square is equivalent to a minus b square. It is equivalent to a square minus b square. See over here, a square minus b. That is a plus b and a minus b. That is a minus b and a plus b. Right? Is this clear? So we have just tried to substitute this value of sine square by 1 minus cos a or 1 plus cos a. And you will see 1 minus cos a will get cancelled out by 1 minus cos a, and you will be left with 1 plus cos a. So once you solved left hand side, you also get 1 plus cos a and cos a plus 1. And once you solve right hand side, you get 1 plus cos a and cos a plus 1. So both the sides are equal to 1 plus cos a